Echo Fox. Jat was mentioning that yesterday in order to feel what it's like and know those matchups. So unique pick for him. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets banned out here.
He has been seeing those bans towards him. Nidalee. Corki, there's the KO. KFO finding his target bans. They're saying, and it's kind of right along with Frog, and if it's going to be harder for him to do other things, take him off the comfort right away and make it harder from the get-go even more. 2 more for Echo Fox. We're seeing Kog'Maw be banned out now, and some finalizers. See Fiora being left up quite a few times here throughout the day, but not picked.
Lulu banned by Immortals. This signals to me that they might go for a Kalista first pick if it's not banned away from them.
That's a good point.
And
this is there, so it may be the Alistar or something for Huni. The Gangplank is still left up for that top lane. You know what else is left up is Soraka. So that's the Gragas going for Reignover. Yesterday we saw the Gragas being played a bit with Huni's Quinn in that top lane, and they got themselves into some trouble with trying to continue to focus on that top synergy they brought from Europe.
Yeah, blue side Quinn is very hard to actually find success on, using it as a counter pick to things like Gangplank and actually Fiora as well. It is a very strong pick against that champion. You just have to play it pretty mechanically sound, pretty mechanically perfectly.
I was looking for that word.
Yeah, but every time it goes back over.
See, they only chant it when it goes over to Immortals. They know they better their chance if they chanted it for both teams, but I guess he already got an Alistar. It could be the lock-in. If he trolls the crowd. Does not, locks it in. Banana Man is gonna be a very happy one in the crowd today. And we do get the Soraka play once again from Adrian.
The crowd's been wanting a Soraka all day.
Yep, we finally get it.
So
it's the little things.
So what we've been mostly seeing out of Wild Turtle is Lucian and then also Kalista. So Kalista's become a ban against him, and he's played Lucian and Kalista the majority of his games. He has had a Caitlyn game and 2 Corki games, but aside from that, it's all been Lucian and Kalista. So the first pick here of the Lucian for Keith, well, looks like they're going to save the Lucian again, see if Keith can actually carry this game from that bot lane.
His Lucian yesterday, Wild Turtles that is, was very good still, 7-1-3 in that Immortals game. So even with the Kalista, he should be able to put up numbers like that, as you were saying. Picking for Froggen, and Keith now does he take his own? 2 seconds left, he's sitting on that TF. It's gonna be a blind pick TF and a blind top lane.
Yeah, I actually do not like that. I think that hiding your pick against Immortals, because what Immortals get to do now is Immortals got to see your bot lane and then pick their bot lane. They got to see your top and your mid, and now they get to pick their top and mid, and Immortals counter pick.
Right.
They draft against their opponent, and they're fluid. So you're going to see a counter pick here to what the Twisted Fate is. You're going to see something that Huni is comfortable running into the Fiora. They don't play for comp. They play to win the lane and then snowball from there.
Syndra Pantheon looks like it's going to be locked in. There it is. It's going to be Huni going hard on the Pantheon. We've seen that now 3 plays in the North American LCS. This will be number 3.
Yeah, it's a very good pick in certain matchups. You play it into Fiora, you poke it down, really good matchup. You tower dive with it, and you can snowball leads. And tower diving with a Pantheon Soraka is basically freelo at that point. You jump in, you tank turret shots, you keep getting healed up in between. So that is a combination that we will be seeing later.
Healed up, and her synergy for damage in that target area that Pantheon's going to have his target in is just going to synergize so well. Syndra coming out here for Pobelter. A little bit of a different pick for him. He plays usually on that Lissandra, playing on things like TF, but that's in Froggen's hands today. And with knowing how TF plays, Pobelter feels it's the Syndra. Gems. Gems are chosen. Are gems locked in? 5 seconds left on that. You guys got a Soraka. I don't know if you're going to get gems, though. I'm sorry, it will not be a Jungle Taric.
No gems.
No gems today.
Not today. But Syndra, new unique champion here for Pobelter in the mid lane. He's been sticking to that Lux and the Lulu whenever it's up to try and support his laners. But Immortals, they got pretty much everything that they wanted in terms of lane matchups. So Immortals are expecting to destroy early game based off of the champions they selected into what Echo Fox has, and then try to snowball from there. But Echo Fox, they do have split push and they have Twisted Fate, so you can 1-3-1, and then you can also just reinforce the Fiora split push. So this becomes a game of, it's not really Pantheon versus Fiora, it's Pantheon versus Twisted Fate and Fiora.
This is another game where they enable KFO to do something big. We saw that on the Kale versus Impulse in week 6. And this is the thing, as Froggen is saying, it's going to be a little bit harder to kind of synergize with KFO, but still, maybe feeling like they can't get the same comp or run the same comp. This is different from what we've seen in the past 2 weeks. Not that tank top, not that Corki mid or Gangplank mid. They're still getting that Lucian in there, though. Trying to still keep the DPS where it can be on the 80 carry, of course. Teams are loading into the game. Let us know who you think is going to come out with the win. As always, tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag IMT win or the hashtag FOX win. We're going to tally those up in game. Maybe we won't. Maybe we will. I feel like it's a tally
Keep them on the edge.
It's a tally day. All the games have kept us on the edge. Like all the way to diving Nexus on the last one. Straight through, single take in the back door. What do we have for game 5? They've all been riveting today, and we're going to get Immortals versus Echo Fox. We're on the Rift.
Echo Fox double TP up against Pobelter. He does have that cleanse, so he's going to be looking to cleanse gold cards and then retaliate and try to burst. So he does have a good matchup here against Froggen. Cull for Wild Turtle first item. So we're seeing that more and more from Wild Turtle when he has a Soraka next to him, because that lane, you're just going to be farming. You're not looking for those all-ins. You're looking for that 1 item, 2 item power spike faster than your opponent.
It's interesting. He's been kind of, he has toyed with that back and forth.
Yes.
Sometimes the Doran, sometimes that Cull, as you were saying, with the choice of champion and lane.
It's funny because when I first asked him about it, I'm like, why are you taking Cull? He's like, is it good? He's like, I'm not sure if it's good or not. I'm just doing it. It's like, Turtle, please.
Why not practice it at the highest level?
I told him that if he keeps doing it, he's going to bait other people into doing it. And then they're going to start to do it, and he's going to swap back to Doran's ring and kill him in lane.
It's got to work, though, because then you're either just the guinea pig that shows that it's wrong, or you're the god that shows that it's right, and people call you Genja.
And that legend still carries on to this day.
There's like another one where he's like, Genja's building like old Corki's used to, and he's owning.
Yeah.
God.
Remember when he bought Trinity Force on Kog'Maw, and everybody's like, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
And then it was the build afterwards.
Hey, it's got to be tried somewhere, and if you make it work on the LCS stage, then you're the one who makes it work.
All right.
Wild Turtle trying to make that happen with Cull, and they're also trying to make this lane swap happen. They head towards the top side, and they will disrupt Fox.
Well, they already got the big one.
Right.
They're going to have to chase them all the way to the other side. Girl picks up the little one. Oh, he picks up a little spider, too.
Changed out to 9 gold.
Bandit right there for Adrian. Got 1 gold. When Elise shifts forms, you get 1 gold per spiderling that she had if you have Bandit. Because technically they die, go to the Oblivion, and then they come back.
So the swap happens, same meet up. Adrian may miss a few, but it's not going to matter. He's out of lane for 1 experience. And things start off again. Lane swap on this one. We saw that, you know, help out Renegades last game. They were able to kind of put themselves into position. Is getting turrets down with this type of composition that Immortals has going to be very beneficial in the early game.
This is actually a difference that we see in Immortals. What they like to do is they like to send Huni immediately to the lane. He remains level 1, but it allows Rainover to immediately get level 3 in the jungle and have access to all of his abilities. And then he can play reactionary, go mid, do whatever he wants, duel the enemy jungler, but then he also stays ahead and experience the other jungler in a lane swap. So Hard is about half a level behind right now, and then that could start to snowball, and that's how he ends up doing it. That's how he gets that advantage where he cycles you in your jungle, and then he keeps bullying you.
And they will maybe get Elise. A late walk down. Words are definitely going to be placed there by Fox, but this Essence Flux being taken 2nd level is definitely helping the top turret go down a little bit faster. So Immortals are going to be able to reposition, figure out what they want. It'll be matched by Fox in a few seconds.
We saw Adrian actually healing minions there to keep them alive. Wild Turtle?
Looks like they're giving solo as well to KFO in the bot lane.
Yeah, solo
go to back away from him.
KFO actually jumps out to about a 300 gold lead over Huni because of that.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Ooh, Froggen taking a bit of scatter in the mid lane from Pobelter. He's definitely trying to put down the damage quick, as Froggen's just there to pretty much clear the wave and try and get to these side lanes as it comes to.
We're just seeing freezes right now. Huni freezing his lane, but actually pushing it out a little bit now because he saw Keith with those deeper wards. As soon as he saw him walking up, decided to start pushing it. Basically when you see the AD carry enter the lane as a top laner, you're like, oh, no, mom's home, quick, gotta go LCS, get it. Clean it all.
Gotta do this.
Yeah, basically you get very frantic and try to pick up as much as you can in the wave and get out because basically you don't know when's the next time you're gonna have a minion wave to farm.
And you can see that Hooney's like, I guess I'll help a little bit mid. I really don't have too much to take at Gromp. It'll hurt. So he is roaming around. He's going to find Reignover in the jungle. And they'll go buddy system for a bit.
Exactly. He might farm the Gromp, might go for the Wolves, and then he ends up going towards the bot lane. And this is another reason why you don't want to have a bad matchup in the mid lane versus Pobelter, because if Pobelter is able to win mid during this entire phase where you're just swapping turrets back and forth, he'll lose a lot.
Yeah, already 12 CS down, amounting to waves already. And we think of Pobelter Syndra, as I was just kind of recalling his games, it would be against LeBlancs, and he's the guy that kind of stuffed LeBlanc in her distortion. Make sure to use that scatter correctly. Very fast and very accurate with that scatter ability. So expect to see some plays here from the mid lane. Usually Pobelter's pretty quiet and then comes into the team fights.
Yeah, he's beating up Froggen. Froggen's going to back. Not full mana just yet. He does have blue cards though, so he'll be okay. But forces the TP out, and that's another trade of the turrets. So the ceremonial dance of taking the outer turrets has now been completed.
Yes. Now you're going to have to dance with different partners. This is where it gets a little sketchy. You got to make the right moves. You're going a little bit deeper into the fight, and you got to have the wards to do so. Also a time when we see teams kind of slow down if they push themselves too fast, too early. You don't kind of have the strength to go that deep in the jungle, or you lose too much also that way. 6 minutes coming up on the clock. There's the dance you were talking about on the other side. Keith backs 2 Dorans, 2 Longswords, and 2 Wild Turtles stacking his tier.
It's a very scaling build for Wild Turtle. He's not going to have a lot of damage for a good while here. Whereas Keith looking towards that Caulfield's Warhammer and even purchased a second Doran's. We're seeing sometimes second Cull in long lane swaps like this, but opts in for just more flat combat stats. Possibly looking for an early fight. Look at this. Hooney's coming around the side with a TP. He completed it.
He's there. I don't know if he's going to be able to cut him off in the choke point here. Big pushes out Hooney. Looks like he's going to give himself up in the situation. Froggen is just below. Can't pull the card necessary. That's going to be first blood. The rotation, what's catching Fox off guard there as Immortals go from lane to lane.
Oh, that was so fast. Reignover came out of Fog of War, and even though Big had Flash, he wasn't fast enough to dodge the body slam flash. Another!
Just misses a bit of extra damage from Pobelter as Froggen with the fast flash to get out. Remember, he used his teleport a little bit ago, so that's a long walk back to lane.
Yeah, he does have his ultimate, though, so if he uses his ultimate to walk back to lane,
that's true. He just hit 6.
We'll see if he does that, but of course, Pobelter and Reignover. Reignover called to the mid lane to help him push it out, and of course, you'll reach the turtle a little earlier, deny some CS from Froggen. Calling your jungler to the lane, very important, even if it's just a clear wave.
But don't take too many.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Come, but don't take too many. You can have a few.
You call me to the wave.
Keith very far up, but you never do that without power and numbers. And here you see right behind him is KFO and Big. Looks like he's actually getting a dance on. He's saying, look, Reignover's low mana here. Can we make a play off of this, or at least force him off of it? And the play may be made. They call for it to go right on to Reignover. They're going to go ahead and pick one up for themselves. And Fox looks to be on the board.
And Fox put all 5 members in this bottom quadrant, and they were pushed up in that bottom lane. And you saw that Wild Turtle's just top. Wild Turtle is farming. He has that scaling build. He's looking for mid-game power spikes. He's trying to accelerate that so they happen just a little bit earlier. But because he's on the top side, recognize the opportunity there. Froggen knows that they're going to be able to have power in their numbers because Reignover had used his flash as well previously to get that gank onto Big.
Also, little helpful for Froggen. It comes up as an assist kill for Keith, but he's had a rough mid lane, so anything that Froggen can get, that he doesn't have to leave lane too far as well, and get back and soak that up is very good.
Yeah, as Twisted Fate in this matchup, you would want to avoid the lane, go off to the sides. As soon as you get magic resistance, you'll be a little bit better. But Twisted Fate usually isn't for dominating the lane, it's usually for dominating the side lanes.
He will try to keep doing so. Big percentage there for Immortals as the team and fans stand behind them. 12-1 still, I should say, in the NALCS. Just missing that win streak, but still putting up one of the best statistical splits we've ever seen in objectives, and turrets, wards, across the map. All the players really synergize to make those stats come to life. It's hard to beat a team like that. A lot of times you'll see a team that's good on paper kind of fizzle once they get into the game. Seem to go through both here.
But Echo Fox, though, they have a lot of advantages in this early game. Just like that, Keith has red buff, so he's able to bully Froggen, close to having that TP up. Huni doesn't have TP, and KFO does, so there's pressure, and Wild Turtle is on that scaling build, right? All he has, he's 3 purchased items in, and the only AD he has is from his starting item. Whereas you have BF Sword, another Doran's, 2 longswords. So there's a lot more here in just flat combat stats for Keith that he gets to bully this lane for a good period of time. And if Echo Fox capitalize on that, they can run away with the advantage.
Turtle getting hit up. He is forced to arcane shift out. Also use the heal on that. Soraka keeps him alive. Pings towards that top lane. Aren't going to be too much as Reignover backs off from KFO. But as I was looking as well, that when they were going in, this is Turtle's first game this split on that Ezreal. So definitely different than what we've seen through his Lucian Kalista plays, where he can get that rend early, get some more damage early, and go hard.
It's really kind of awkward because Immortals usually will have that as an insurance policy.
Right.
They'll play towards that top lane, they'll play towards mid kind of rarely, but that bottom lane is always that extra option. And they usually like Turtle to have pressure there.
Yeah.
The Ezreal's a different look for him, and that's mid-game spike. It's not early game. Turtle usually relies on that early game. I'm just going to win this lane, and we'll snowball. And now Froggen.
He still has the flash from previously. He only used heal to get out of that situation. KFO's behind. He's trying to actually deny KFO any touch, but it's not going to happen. KFO gets the kill, and you can actually see Froggen is just being a facilitator here. Walks away to give that kill over, knowing who the carry is this time.
He does lose his mid turret, though, and oh!
A lot of plays here. Reignover going a little too deep without being able to get out alone. He goes down. No help there could be provided from the team.
And Immortals, we've been talking about their downward trend. They're sliding a tiny bit. Their last 3 games have not been clean, and we've seen this team perform incredibly well. And this game, it's looking a little bit like the same. Flash there from Keith, right on time, and then the juke forward. This Lucian doesn't need saving.
Keith saw that play as soon as Reignover took the extra step to turn towards.
Yeah.
That was second nature for him there. Very nicely done.
Yeah, we had to put that in extra slow motion. Super fast. Of course, Fox, though, this is the team that, you know,
they make it look easy.
Yeah.
I don't get it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You were saying.
Yes, of course. Echo Fox, this is a team that was handed a lot of losses because they had to run a substitute roster. Because they weren't able to field their actual roster. So people are still figuring out where they stand. And if they take down Immortals today, that's a huge statement for this team because they're trying to surge into the standings and they're trying to make it up there. Energy not looking as good as they have in the past. Echo Fox, they're looking better every week. Yesterday, they did drop a game to TSM, though, and that ended their streak.
Right.
On a 4-game streak since they had their members come back.
They were wondering, Froggen was kind of saying, like, we have been tested, but we keep getting the same comp, so I don't feel that we've been tested. And I think TSM allowed them to look at a few more of those alleys or avenues that they needed to peer down before finding the solutions. I'm going to say resolution, but solutions to their problems that the rest of the ones they had. Like you said, after they fixed up getting the roster back, the wins started to come right away, because that's actually the team they were always practicing with. Even though they would play subs in the LCS, Echo Fox would practice with their team, and that's why it is looking that good once they get onto the Rift here.
Yeah, they didn't miss any steps. Came back onto the Rift and immediately were able to perform. And this actually looks like Huni maxing Heartseeker Strike first as opposed to the Spear Shot, making sure that he has wave clear as opposed to, and able to set off his Thunderlords too, as opposed to just throwing spears for harassment, which is what you'll usually do in lane. I do want to touch on something, though, because we see this slight gold lead despite being down in kills. There's 1 turret in favor of Immortals, but also Reignover's just been farming like a monster. He's got twice as much CS as Hard, and Hard hasn't gotten a CS in a decent time now, and he's up about 800 gold. So Reignover is this lead by himself, despite having 2 deaths.
Keep an eye on Hard, see what he's being forced to do. Pretty much go lane to lane. They did have a bit of a skirmish down in the bottom when they took Reignover. That's one of the early ones, though.
Immortals are on a little bit of a timer here. They're going to have to try and engage something because Twisted Fate in the bot lane. Huni might jump on top of him, but we'll see what happens. There goes Grand Skyfall.
It's like he does it actually to get into Froggen there. Gold card's going to come under the turret. He knows it's going to be blocked. He's got to throw it off at some time. Goes for
Flash
the
W.
flash. He has the distance. Aegis is up. That means the next one is blocked anyways after the stun. There's not much you can do against that.
Yep. Just the Legion coming up big there, stopping the gold card. It's not something that people always expect, but that's how it works.
Yep. The sigh from the crowd as it hit.
Yeah, just like blinds now will actually expend that. So if he gets Teemo blinded, he'll actually use that gold card and not stun.
Use the Aegis.
No, you use the gold card.
Oh, I see what you're saying. From
Yeah.
TF.
Yes.
Okay.
If Twisted Fate is blinded and he throws out the card on somebody, it won't actually apply the stun.
Right.
Because he's blinded, and that's how that works.
I thought you were saying on Pantheon.
Oh, yes, yes.
I get it.
Gotcha.
15
yeah.
on the
Auto attack
clock.
cancers are blocked.
Pobelter to mid. This is not too dangerous. He has wards to his left there as they die away, as I say it. But he gets himself to a safe spot. Now trying to do a bit of a split push to 3-1-1. As it's going to take a bit of time for Huni to get himself moved up here, but he should be able to do so. Youmuu's first item for him. Boots of swiftness to get himself back into those lanes to push. We'll see who they decide to send. Hard making a bit of a move here. Still, Hard's been defending with the team. Huni's able to get back into the fight where he wants to be. A very nice pulverize from Big, and this is a line shot that Fox can usually put their DPS through, but it's turned right back around by Immortals, and that's going to be Turtle Pobelter coming up with huge damage. Adrian healing up the team. Huni going back in for the double kill!
Just when you think you have him, he's got that maxed Heartseeker strike. He did so much damage as Pantheon in that fight. That was ridiculous.
The lower you get, the more it stings.
Oh,
and that stung pretty good. Huni just completely focused. I think he's full health now after that as well.
Insane.
Thanks, Adrian. What a play. And that's what kills confidence too, is at the last moment when you have it and you want to go for it and then it doesn't work out.
Yep.
Incredibly crazy.
Still down levels coming into this as well. Reignover's 2 levels above him. Big. Fight gets split. Big. Nice.
Slams down.
Q. But then Huni just, oh wait. 5-second cooldown, here's the E. Cross everyone, Thunderlords kills KFO, and then Huni gets cocooned, gold carded at the same time, and then the pickups on the right side. Ooh. Yep. Yep. He's got flat penetration right now with the Youmuu's Ghostblade, so he's at 38. And you're looking at Froggen's armor, he's only got 48. So basically doing true damage to these guys very quickly as well. It's about 300 damage from the Heartseeker strike every 5 seconds, and plus Thunderlord. So really just huge burst of there. And Pantheon became a team fighter with that max first.
Super crazy. Huni making the right plays on that one. But yesterday, I was going to say, just to recall, after Huni has his way here with KFO, the Grand Challenge is down. And it looks like, yeah, he's going to get it. I figured he'd be able to get the heal and stay alive, but KFO is taken down with the help of Wild Turtle.
Yeah, actually lied, by the way. It's
Irene.
It's 600 damage to champions, because it's actually, the number that they give you is the base plus the AD, and then that's multiplied by 3. But that's 2 minions and monsters. It's multiplied by 2.
Right.
So it's actually multiplied by 6. So yes, he does 600 damage per E on a 5-second cooldown in an AoE.
Looking at that moment again, though, yesterday, a moment kind of reminiscent to that is what cost Reignover and Huni to go down. They went kind of hard on a fight, and then they went down. There, if Huni went down, there wasn't much of a turn coming from Immortals, but you can still see Immortals always wants to push themselves to that max, try to get the biggest advantage out of everything, and this time it pays off very big.
Yeah, and Immortals, when I've talked with their coach, he tells me even if they get behind, he's not nervous because Huni and Reignover just have this sense of what fight they can take and what fight they can win. So when they're behind, they're still going to find those skirmishes as soon as it pops up. And something clicks where they go, this is the one that we take. And that was that fight. That fight got Immortals back into the game, surged them into this gigantic lead, and then they got turret pressure. They're able to get ward coverage. You can see on that right bottom side of the map, they're able to just put all these pink wards down. And they have complete control of the map now, and Immortals in the driver's seat.
Getting those waves cleared up. Everything's fundamentals for them now. Make sure it's past that river and in your favor. Still 91-44, so only like 13 or so, 15 CS has really been picked up by Hard since we spoke about that CS before.
It was funny, because I said that, and then when he went into that fight, we
He had
saw
the same amount of
previously,
CS.
he had 29 still.
Yeah.
So
During that fight.
I'm not exactly sure what Hard was doing during that time. He's 2 levels down behind Rainover when that fight happened.
Well, it goes to show because we saw Immortals in that jungle, either stealing things or having wards all the way around across that position. Because Pobelter was able to walk back and forth freely.
Exactly.
Which means if you don't own the jungle, you're not getting the jungle.
Exactly. When you have that mid lane turret down, you're able to just own the entire jungle. You have much better routes into it, much easier rotations, and it just opens up that central part of the map. And then he just gets to cycle your entire jungle over and over again.
That's a good point, because we mentioned that earlier. That came from Froggen. One of Froggen's first TPs to make a play is when he lost that mid turret, and it's actually opened up a lot for Immortals now. Yeah. It was kind of the key to them getting that deeper warding and allowing Huni to get jumps that he can see to now instead of jumping blindly.
Yeah, and then when Huni jumped down to that bottom lane and killed Froggen, that was big for Huni because he was kind of even in CS, was not hitting those Pantheon power spikes just yet, and then he got Youmu's, and then he was good to go at that point.
So as it goes for Echo Fox, looking at Immortals right now, it's Dignitas and CLG next week, and then Cloud9 and Renegade. So there are wins to be had there. Teams they can easily not surpass, but get the win over and start to look much better in the standings. Immortals, it's easy to say, they're facing teams they've already beat, so it's definitely going to be hard to take games off of these guys. Again, even coming after their first loss doesn't seem to phase them here, and they're still playing quite strong.
It's just sometimes this early game can go a little wrong for them. We saw in CLG.
Right. It almost has to be done then.
Yeah. They weren't too bogged down by what happened, but hold on.
Holding. Doesn't look like Keith wants to. He gets out. It was almost like a solo play here. It's like, well, this is one of those fights that they're winning, but they're taking to get a bit of an advantage. They know they have the advantage to press further off of this one, and that Fox can't take it. So even in these mind games, true shot. It's gonna wing by. We got it. Saw it. Corner of the eye. So, Wild Turtle. This guy has been charging up on the side lanes here. He's like, oh, I can get some. All right, I'll take that.
Oh, my Muramana's completed. This is great. And Rainover, he got that Raptor's Cloak very early on so that he can rush down the lanes and actually make plays like he just did to get big that low.
All right, second tier for KFO. We actually haven't seen too much come from him this game. It's gonna be tough when he's also not 4-0-4.
We got stunned.
Hard locked up over the wall. Scat of the week. He gets taken down. Immortals are going to be able to take Baron now. That's going to hurt KFO's push in the bot. He won't be able to stay too long. But you can see on the map there, all objectives so far in the hands of Immortals as they control the map.
This is super risky because you're going to have Baron buffed up, home guarded members, and Huni is actually having the inside track. Oh my god!
Oh. When it's up, you're down. That's how his true shot barrage works.
KFO. Oh,
he's walking into it. We're good. KFO, he walked out. I thought anybody was going to come with him, but TF ults down. TF teleports down. It's just about clearing waves now. 11-4, 22 minutes in. It looks like Immortals is looking to put some final touches on this one. Froggen actually has that Lich Bane, which is maybe why you saw him push so hard to get up there, get that damage onto the turret.
KFO got to back really close to Huni. Huni was focused on pushing the bottom wave out because Huni's 2 levels up. He beats KFO in a one-on-one right now. So he gets bottom lane dominance. The rest of his team, he gets a split push from. 4 people in the mid. Baron buff, they're going to get an inhibitor here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we don't want that to happen, but we took one. It's okay. We just need to get that inhibitor to fall down now.
Here's the portal.
Minions crashing into the mid lane now. It's going to be very difficult, actually, for this to be cleared. Froggen not clearing out super minions too quick. We have to call over KFO. Or, I'm sorry, Keith. I was looking at Fox. As they push down here on the bot side. Froggen's a bit off here, so they're going to have some free time, 5v4 with the turret. Looks like Froggen will just walk himself in. That's another inhibitor down. Immortals just stranglehold right now on anything that Fox has, and Fox is giving them room to work with.
And we've seen Immortals end games pre-20 minutes. This team knows how to strangle you out of the game when they get a tiny lead. They just balloons out of control. When they get tier 2s, they know how to put vision down in the enemy jungle, where to put it, how to protect it, and how to play their composition. So Immortals, I don't expect this game, if they're going to close it out, to go much longer.
Right. They always put the finishing touches on quite quickly, and something is need more, or not need more teams, but more teams need to build on, because if you go to face Immortals in a best of 3, they're a team that's going to figure out, right their wrongs, and be able to close that game out as they have. There isn't that chance to keep going. You will instantly be taken off the map every time they get a chance. There you go.
This is one of the reasons you don't show your solo lanes to Immortals.
Yeah, back to champion select.
Don't do that.
Bottom lane, mid, top, or mid, yeah.
They got to counterpick everything except for jungle, which doesn't matter.
Right.
You first picked it. As long as you have dominant lanes, you're good. Wild Turtle, of course, a little bit more scaling there, and they picked the Soraka alongside it for the safety. But Pobelter got to destroy mid lane and CS at the start, got to push him out of lane and make TF have no pressure. And Wild Turtle.
You'd think Alistar's ultimate was on. 13
when
to
it's
9.
up.
13 to 9 makes it look like it's not. The levels. It's at 13 to 11 as well. Wild Turtle is 2 levels ahead of Keith. It is just a game Immortals has taken and run away with now as the super minions start to pour into the mid lane. Looking to make their record 13-1, 25 minutes in. One of the fastest average time for games from a team, and Immortals will continue to do so. They'll take down hard. It's just a deterrence. They're trying to say, walk this way. Don't look at the Nexus. It's not what you want.
Fantasy.
It's all a lie. It's a ruse. Get away. But they will find what they need. KFO on the fountain, standing tall. Looks like he'll live. The Nexus turret, and Nexus will not. And it looks like it's going to be Immortals getting the focus onto the Nexus. When they can, don't worry, it'll get there. I've still got some breath to go. And now they start to finish it off. 16-4. Immortals will take down Echo Fox.
25-minute game there for Immortals, bouncing back from yesterday, showing the resilience of this squad despite having their first loss. This game, couple hiccups in the early game, but still rather clean for Immortals once they were able to find a fight that was good for them, win that, and then be able to close out the game in pretty textbook fashion.
Didn't see him too much, but Wild Turtle ends up doing the most damage. Not a whole lot, 19,200. Pretty low damage game overall, but hitting everything he needed to. He brings out the Ezreal, and he becomes a different person for the team as well. So we see a bit different style here from Immortals in that sense of the AD carry.
So Wild Turtle did all of Echo Fox's damage combined by himself, plus 100.
Plus 100.
So he did 100 more damage than all of Echo Fox's champions combined. Wild Turtle had a scaling build, but he was still dealing a decent amount of damage during that early and mid game.
There he is on your screen. Pobelter as well, bringing out the Syndra, dominating the mid lane in CS. And this guy, Huni, ending up the game at 4. Oh no, Pobelter's 4-0-4 now. He took over Huni's score. Huni moved up to 6-0-6. So go figure, these guys playing very strong. Again, the Soraka pick comes out. Banana Man is happy. And Echo Fox have to look at this as actually a pretty good early game. They figured out ways to stall Immortals, but once these guys get a hold, they do not let go. You have to get a hold and run that hold into the ground.
Exactly, and that's what Immortals do. They get that hold on the game, and then when they're cycling your jungle over and over again, and they're